6.
Oh, there when it says live. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's meeting, to this council meeting. In light of the current coronavirus situation, this meeting is being presented in a different way, virtually via live stream. The Victorian Government's COVID-19 Omnibus Emergency Measures Act 2020 has introduced new mechanisms that allows for virtual council meetings to be held between the 1st of May 2020 and the 2nd of November 2020. This ensures that local government decision making can continue during the coronavirus pandemic. The public are encouraged to watch virtual meetings through live streaming, which is available on Council's website and the YouTube page. As chair of the meeting, I give my consent for this open council meeting to be recorded and published online in accordance with Section 27 of Council's Local Law Number 1 of 2019. The stream will stop at the conclusion of the meeting should technical issues prevent the continuation of the stream. Every effort will be made to bring the stream back online as soon as possible. A recording will be made available on Council's website following the meeting. I will now run through the procedures to ensure the meeting runs as smoothly as possible in accordance with requirement 1 of the Minister's Good Practice Guideline. I will address each councillor individually to confirm the following. They can hear the proceedings, they can see other councillors in attendance, they can be seen by other councillors, and they can be heard when speaking. If a councillor is unable to confirm that they can hear or see the proceedings, or if they cannot be seen or heard, they will be recorded as absent in the minutes and be ineligible to vote on agenda items. I will now confirm that all councillors can be seen and heard. Deputy Mayor Councillor Joanne Gilbert, are you able to see and hear me? Hopefully so after all that big long introduction.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I can see and hear you and every other councillor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Evans, can you please confirm that you can see and hear all other councillors?
All councillors are clear on screen and all audio is okay.
Thank you very much, Councillor Evans. Councillor Hansford.
Can confirm, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kirby.
Yes, I can see and hear everyone.
Councillor Des Phelan, can you see and hear everybody?
I can, Mr Mayor.
And Councillor Lesrow, are you able to see and hear everybody?
Yeah, I can, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rowe. If any councillor drops out during the meeting, they will be recorded as having left the meeting at that time, and the meeting will continue as normal. If a councillor rejoins the meeting, I will, in accordance with requirement 1 of the Minister's Good Practice Guideline, again ask the councillor to confirm that they can see and hear the proceedings and see others in attendance and can be heard. Upon this confirmation, it will be recorded in the minutes that the councillor rejoined the meeting. Councillors, if you would like to move or second a motion, please raise your hands in a manner that can be clearly seen on your computer's camera. Councillors, when voting on a matter, please also raise your hand either for or against the motion in a manner that can be clearly seen on your computer's camera. Please leave your hand raised until I have declared the motion has been carried or lost. If you wish to speak to an item during debate, please also raise your hand in a manner that can be clearly seen on your computer's camera and leave your hand raised until I've asked you to speak. This will allow me as the Mayor to manage the debate accordingly. When you are not speaking, please ensure you are on mute. Due to coronavirus situation and the meeting being held virtually, any public questions submitted will be read out by the Chief Executive Officer as a proxy. Again, due to coronavirus situation, any public presentations or submissions which don't apply for this meeting tonight will be read out as myself as the Mayor. I will now recite the opening declaration. We, the councillors of Golden Plains Shire, declare that we will undertake on every occasion to carry out our duties in the best interest of the community and that our conduct shall maintain the standards of the Code of Good Governance so that we may faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in this council by the people of Golden Plains Shire. Council also acknowledges the traditional Wadawurrung owners of the land where we meet today. Council pays its respects to the Wadawurrung elders, both past and present, and extends that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Golden Plains Shire. I don't believe we have any apologies or absence of leaves. And councillors, we have can we have a resolution before us to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 25th of August 2020 as circulated? Moved Councillor Rowe, seconded Councillor Kirby. All those in favour? Motion's carried. Councillors, is there any declarations of conflict of interest? Thank you. We now move on to consider the formal agenda. Item 7.1, lease of part of the Bannockburn Family Service Centre. Director Latik, Director of Community Services, if you'd like to introduce the report, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Councillors, this report presents to Council the outcomes of the public consultation process undertaken in accordance with the Local Government Act, sections 190 and 223. In relation to Council proposal to lease part of 2A Pope Street, Bannockburn, known as the Bannockburn Family and Children's Service Centre, to Cardinia Childcare Incorporated on the following terms. Commencement of operations the 4th of January 2021. Commencement rental of $184,400 per annum with a rental increase of 4% every year for the second anniversary. An initial term of 5 years and 4 months, allowing for a transition period with a further 5-year option. The proposal was publicly advertised between the 29th of July and the 26th of August, and no submissions were received. Therefore, the recommendation before you tonight is that Council note that no public submissions were received, resolve to lease part of the facility to a Pope Street, Bannockburn to Cardinia Childcare Incorporated, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to finalise the lease to the satisfaction of the Chief Executive Officer and execute the lease on behalf of Council. And note that in granting to the tenant, council officers will commence a transition period of the services to Cardinia Childcare and cease operating the Bannockburn Children's Service Long Day Care Service from the 24th of December 2020. Thank you.
I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you very much, Director Latik. And councillors, before I take a motion, is there any questions? If no questions, I'll take move the motion. Councillor Evans moving the motion, seconding the motion. 3 hands up there. Councillor Hansford. Councillor Evans, if you'd like to speak to the motion.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This has been a long process getting to this point. This situation in childcare was identified by me back in March 2018, which basically showed that we were losing an enormous amount of money to the sum of roughly $5,000 per child of ratepayers' money into that facility. To Council's credit, and our CEO, who has been very proactive on this, trying to get it into a position where we are getting cost neutral, which was virtually nearly impossible because of the structure. Going to a alternate operator has been a long-winded process. It has finally come to a point where we can now get to that position. And I'd see that with a new operator in the facility providing places in Bannockburn, which is in the growth zone of within the next 20, 30 years, we're going to be 40,000 people. So there's going to be a lot of need for these type of facilities if it's going to be in a council-owned facility or be it private. So with that, there will be a lot of demand, and this is going down the right path. It's the correct path for the ratepayers, and it was probably a decision that in hindsight we probably would never have gone into in the beginning, but we are where we are. And I completely recommend we adopt the recommendations as stated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Evans. Councillor Hansford seconding the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And initially, this was something that I was against. We went into this process. I think initially there was thought that this would just be closed and that it would just go to the wind, and that was not the best option for the ratepayers and for the public around us. So I think what we've ended up with is the best of both worlds. We still have the service, but we don't have that cost impost on our ratepayers. So I believe we've been able to strike the right balances, and this is the greatest outcome for the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hansford. Would any councillor like to speak against the motion? With no councillor speaking against the motion, I'll put it straight to a vote. All those in favour of the motion? The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, councillors. Just further to that, and echoing some of Councillor Evans' comments there, this has been a long process, and tonight's decision is the accumulation of a long journey to determine the future of long day care at the Bannockburn Children's Service. Golden Plains Shire Council commenced the operation of the Bannockburn Children's Service long day care from the Bannockburn Family Service Centre in 2014. At a time when there were no other long day care childcare options for families in the Shire, and Council established the service to meet a need that supported workforce participation. Since that time, 2 other private childcare providers have entered the Bannockburn childcare market, resulting in more choices for families. As a result, in 2018, Council has implemented a range of efficiencies to develop a more sustainable model of delivery. However, this did not solve the issue of growth in the childcare market. In 2019, a best value review was undertaken, building on the work of the previous review and taking into consideration staff and community feedback, as well as the outcome of an expression of interest process to investigate if there is potential for an alternative service delivery model. Several workshops and presentations were undertaken with councillors over many months to explore the matter in its entirety and to give due consideration to the needs of council, staff, families and the wider community in making such an important decision. The outcome of this review was formally considered in November 2019, and council decided to undertake a further expression of interest for the lease of part of Bannockburn Family Service Centre for the provision of long day care services. At its April meeting, council was pleased to endorse Kidinia Childcare as the preferred respondent with which to negotiate the lease. Kidinia is a well-regarded, experienced childcare education and child provider in the region, with services in Geelong, Warrnambool and Ballarat. Kidinia's long day care services have achieved exceeding quality in accordance with the National Quality Framework. Lease negotiations are now complete, and council is in a position to consider this lease as the outcome of a very comprehensive and well-considered review of its role in the provision of long day care. The lease provides an opportunity for council to continue to ensure that families have access to a range of quality childcare options within the Shire without the day-to-day management responsibilities of operating the service. The lease will provide a return on council's past investment in delivering the service and contribute to the ongoing cost of operations of the Bannockburn Family Service Centre, a purpose-built early years facility. Kidinia's long day care service will operate alongside council's maternal and child care, health and kindergarten services, and are partners in the provision of allied health services, offering a suite of complementary services to families and their children. And finally, on behalf of council, I'd like to thank and recognise the staff of the Bannockburn Children's Services, who every day provide top quality care and education to children and families of the Golden Plains Shire. Your passion and commitment is evident, and your continued support throughout this review process is greatly appreciated. Thank you. We have no notice of motions, no petitions, and I can close the meeting at 6:50.